The ticking clock in the living room seemed to reverberate through the silent house, marking the passing of each agonizing second. Molly moved through the rooms like a ghost, her pleas for attention drowned in the cavernous void left by Joseph and Piper's resolute silence. The once warm and bustling home had transformed into an emotional battleground, and Molly was caught in the crossfire. One evening, as she prepared dinner in the kitchen, Molly tried to break the oppressive silence. "Joseph, Piper, could one of you help me set the table?" she asked, her voice trembling with a mixture of frustration and longing. There was no response, only the clinking of cutlery against plates as Molly set the table for three, each clang echoing in the empty room. Piper, absorbed in her phone, sat at the table without lifting her gaze. Joseph, buried in a newspaper, remained indifferent to Molly's presence. Desperation fueled Molly's attempts to reconnect. "I can't live like this. We're a family. Can't we talk about what's going on?" she implored, her eyes darting between her husband and daughter. Piper finally looked up, her eyes meeting Molly's briefly before sliding away dismissively. "Whatever," she muttered, her attention returning to the glowing screen in her hands. Joseph merely grunted, his eyes never leaving the newspaper. The silence pressed down on Molly's shoulders like an insurmountable weight, leaving her feeling like an intruder in her own home. Later that night, as Molly lay in bed, she heard Joseph's heavy snores and Piper's muffled laughter from the adjacent room. The realization of their disconnect settled in, and a lonely tear escaped Molly's eye. "What happened to us?" she whispered to the darkness, the silence answering her with an unsettling void that seemed to stretch on forever. The air in the house crackled with tension as Piper stormed into the living room, a glossy magazine clutched in her hands. Her eyes gleamed with excitement, but a storm brewed beneath the surface. Molly, folding laundry nearby, sensed the impending clash. "Piper, what's got you so worked up?" Molly asked cautiously, her hands stilling over a neatly folded shirt. Piper thrust the magazine towards Joseph, her voice edged with frustration. "Dad, look at this. A Sweet 16 photo shoot at the Glittering Moments studio. I have to have it. Everyone's doing it." Joseph peered over the top of his newspaper, eyebrows furrowed. "Photo shoot? How much is this nonsense going to cost?" "It's not nonsense, Dad. It's my Sweet 16. I want to remember it." Piper shot back, her eyes flashing with defiance. Molly interjected, attempting to mediate. "Piper, honey, we need to consider our budget. Maybe we can find a more affordable option." Piper scoffed, rolling her eyes. "Affordable? Mom, this is my special day. I don't want cheap pictures that everyone will forget. I want something amazing." Joseph sighed, lowering his newspaper. "Piper, we can't afford extravagance right now. Your mother is right. We need to be practical." "Practical? You two are ruining everything." Piper's frustration reached a boiling point, and she stormed out of the room, leaving the magazine on the table. Molly exchanged a worried glance with Joseph. "We need to talk about this, Joseph. Piper is growing up, and she wants something special. Can't we find a compromise?" Joseph shook his head, folding the newspaper neatly. "Molly, we can't keep indulging her every whim. She needs to understand the value of money." The tension lingered in the room, a palpable reminder of the growing divide between them. As the silence settled, Molly couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just a disagreement about a photo shoot. It was a symptom of a deeper, unspoken rift in their family. The atmosphere in the house remained thick with unresolved tension after the clash over Piper's Sweet 16 photo shoot. Days passed, marked by strained silence and occasional, terse exchanges. Molly couldn't escape the feeling that the walls of her home were closing in on her. One evening, as she prepared dinner, Molly decided it was time to confront the looming issues. Joseph was engrossed in a television show, and Piper was in her room, the door firmly shut. Molly took a deep breath and approached the living room. "Joseph, we need to talk about what's happening. We can't keep avoiding this," Molly said, her voice carrying a mixture of weariness and determination. Joseph glanced at her, his eyes momentarily leaving the screen. "Talk about what, Molly? We've said everything that needs to be said." Molly shook her head, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. "No, Joseph, we haven't. We can't go on like this. Piper is growing up, and I feel like we're losing touch with each other." Joseph sighed, his gaze returning to the television. "We'll talk later, Molly. I need to finish this show." Molly's pleas fell on deaf ears, and the realization of their emotional distance intensified her feelings of isolation. She wandered to Piper's closed door, hesitating before knocking softly. "Piper, honey, can we talk?" Molly asked, her voice laced with a vulnerability she couldn't conceal. The door creaked open, revealing Piper's indifferent expression. "What's there to talk about, Mom?" Molly's eyes welled with tears as she tried to convey the depth of her pain. "I can't keep living like this, Piper. We're a family, and we need to find a way back to each other." Piper shrugged, dismissing her mother's plea. "Maybe it's better this way. I need my space." The finality of Piper's words hung in the air like an unspoken goodbye. Molly retreated to her room, her heart heavy with a decision that had been building within her. Alone in the quiet, she began packing a bag with the essentials, her hands shaking with a mix of fear and determination. As Molly boarded the train to her parents' house, leaving behind the house that had once been a sanctuary, she knew this was a journey toward a new beginning, or perhaps the end of a chapter that had run its course. The breaking point had arrived, and she couldn't turn back. The rhythmic sound of the train, clattering on the tracks, matched the beats of Molly's heart as she journeyed towards her parents' house. The familiar landscapes passing by seemed to echo the steady pulse of her decision. This was a journey toward a new beginning. Arriving at her parents' doorstep, Molly was greeted by a mixture of surprise and concern. Her mother, a warm and nurturing presence, enveloped her in a tight embrace. "Molly, my dear, what's happened? Why are you here?" Tears welled in Molly's eyes as she struggled to find the words. "Mom, I had to leave Joseph and Piper. It became too much. I need some time to figure things out." Her father, a stoic figure with a comforting aura, placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You're always welcome here, Molly. Take the time you need." In the ensuing days, Molly found solace in the familiar surroundings of her childhood home. Amidst the support of her parents, she began to rebuild her sense of self. The once humming house was now filled with shared stories and laughter, a stark contrast to the silence that had haunted her in her own home. One evening, as Molly sat on the porch, sipping tea with her mother, she spoke about the challenges she faced. "I don't even know where to begin, Mom. Everything feels so uncertain." Her mother nodded, understanding the weight of Molly's words. "It's okay, my dear. You have the strength to overcome this. Sometimes we need to lose ourselves to find a truer version of who we are." Embracing the wisdom in her mother's words, Molly set out on a mission to reclaim her identity. She took tentative steps towards independence, applying for jobs and exploring opportunities that had long been overshadowed by the responsibilities of being a wife and mother. In a transformative moment, Molly secured a job after a 20-year gap. As she navigated the unfamiliar terrain of a workplace, she met Paige, a colleague who would become more than just a coworker. One day, as they sat together during a lunch break, Paige sensed the unspoken struggles beneath Molly's composed exterior. "You seem like you've been through a lot, Molly. If you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here." Molly offered a grateful smile, realizing that unexpected friendships often bloomed in the most challenging seasons of life. "Thank you, Paige. It means more than you know." As the days turned into weeks, Molly felt the tendrils of a newfound strength wrapping around her. The wounds of the past were gradually healing, and she marveled at the woman emerging from the cocoon of her former life. Paige, sensing Molly's growth, remarked one day, "You're resilient, Molly. Not everyone can navigate through life's storms and come out stronger on the other side." With newfound confidence, Molly replied, "Maybe the storms are necessary, Paige. They wash away what's no longer needed, leaving behind a canvas for a new beginning." In the quiet moments of reflection, Molly understood that her journey was far from over. Life after divorce was not just about rebuilding. It was about rediscovering the intricate pieces of herself that had been lost along the way. Armed with resilience and a newfound sense of purpose, Molly embraced the unknown, ready to craft her own narrative. As Molly settled into her new job, the office became a realm of both challenge and possibility. Among the sea of faces, one person stood out, Paige, a fellow colleague with a warm smile and an approachable demeanor. Paige became Molly's unexpected anchor in the storm of unfamiliarity. One day, during a coffee break, Paige approached Molly with a friendly grin. "Molly, right? How are you finding everything so far?" Molly, still adjusting to the office dynamics, offered a tentative smile. "It's different, but I'm getting there. Thanks for checking in, Paige." As the days progressed, Molly and Paige's professional relationship evolved into a genuine friendship. They found themselves sharing more than just office banter. The walls of vulnerability slowly crumbled, revealing glimpses of the women beneath the job titles. During a particularly stressful week, Paige sensed Molly's unspoken worries. "You seem a bit overwhelmed, Molly. Is everything okay?" Molly sighed, grateful for the empathetic ear. It's just a lot to take in, Paige. Everything has changed so quickly, and I'm not sure I'm doing it right. Paige chuckled, offering a reassuring pat on Molly's shoulder. Trust me, we've all been there. You're doing better than you think. And if you ever need someone to vent to, I'm just a desk away. Molly's gratitude welled up, and she nodded appreciatively. Thank you, Paige. It means a lot. As the weeks turned into months, their friendship deepened. Lunch breaks became opportunities for heart-to-heart conversations, and shared laughter echoed in the otherwise formal atmosphere of the office. One day, as they sat in the break room, Paige broached a more personal topic. Molly, I've been thinking about starting a book club. Interested? Molly's eyes lit up at the prospect of a new connection. That sounds wonderful, Paige. Count me in. The book club became a sanctuary of sorts, a space where Molly and Paige delved into fictional worlds while navigating the complexities of their own lives. The characters on the pages mirrored the resilience and strength they were discovering within themselves. During one of their book club meetings, Molly found herself opening up about the challenges of singlehood. I never imagined life would take this turn, Paige, but I'm beginning to see the silver linings. Paige nodded, her expression filled with understanding. Life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? And sometimes the unexpected paths lead to the most beautiful destinations. In those moments, Molly realized the profound impact of Paige's friendship. As they supported each other through the highs and lows, Molly found a confidant who saw beyond the surface, embracing the woman she was becoming. As the chapter unfolded, Molly and Paige's friendship became a testament to the transformative power of unexpected connections. The office, once a place of uncertainty, had blossomed into a haven of camaraderie, proving that even in the most unlikely spaces, genuine friendships could take root and flourish. The hum of the city outside Molly's apartment window was the only constant in the late hours when the world seemed to quiet down. It was during these late-night moments that Molly and Paige found solace in their shared experiences and the bond that had grown between them. One evening, Molly hesitated outside Paige's apartment door, a bottle of wine in hand. She knocked softly, and Paige opened the door with a warm smile. "Molly, what a pleasant surprise. Come on in." They settled on Paige's cozy couch, the city lights casting a gentle glow into the room. Uncorking the wine, Molly smiled. "I thought we could use a break from our usual routine. A little wine and good company." Paige raised her glass in agreement. "Cheers to that, Molly. Now spill. What's on your mind?" The conversation flowed effortlessly, shifting from work anecdotes to more personal reflections. Molly, feeling a sense of trust with Paige, decided to broach a topic that had been lingering in the shadows of her thoughts. "I've been thinking a lot about my past, Paige. The life I left behind. Sometimes it feels like I'm mourning a version of myself," Molly confessed, her gaze fixed on the swirling wine in her glass. Paige nodded empathetically. "Change has a way of making us confront our past, doesn't it? But remember, you're not losing yourself, Molly. You're evolving." Molly looked at Paige, her eyes reflecting a mix of gratitude and uncertainty. "Do you ever feel like you're still figuring out who you are?" Paige chuckled, taking a sip of her wine. "All the time, Molly. Life is a constant journey of self-discovery. We're all a work in progress." Late into the night, their conversation continued, veering into the realms of dreams, fears, and aspirations. Paige shared stories of her own journey, and Molly felt a sense of kinship, realizing that they were both navigating uncharted territories. As the clock ticked away, Molly expressed a sentiment that had been lingering in her heart. "Paige, I'm grateful for our friendship. You've been a guiding light in these uncertain times." Paige's eyes twinkled with sincerity. "The feeling is mutual, Molly. We're each other's support system, navigating this maze of life together." The late-night conversations became a ritual, a sanctuary where Molly and Paige unraveled the layers of their lives, finding comfort in the shared vulnerabilities. They laughed, they cried, and most importantly, they were there for each other in the quiet moments when the city slept and their hearts whispered the truths that only late nights could unveil. In the tapestry of their late-night conversations, Molly discovered that friendship could be a balm for the soul, healing wounds and fostering growth. As the chapter unfolded, the foundation of their connection deepened, proving that sometimes the most profound revelations occurred in the stillness of the night. In the midst of rebuilding her life, Molly found herself on a journey of self-discovery. The echoes of the past lingered, but with each passing day, she uncovered facets of herself that had long been overshadowed by the roles of wife and mother. One sunny afternoon, Molly sat at a cozy cafe with Paige, a notebook open in front of her. "I've been trying to make a list of things I love, things that bring me joy," she confessed, a hint of uncertainty in her voice. Paige smiled encouragingly. "That's a wonderful idea, Molly. It's time to rediscover yourself." Molly scribbled down items on her list, from simple pleasures like reading a good book to more profound aspirations like pursuing a hobby she had neglected for years. As she shared her thoughts with Paige, a spark of excitement ignited within her. In the days that followed, Molly immersed herself in activities that resonated with her newfound sense of self. One evening, she attended an art class, rediscovering the joy of creating with her hands. Paige, who had joined her, marveled at Molly's artistic expression. "I had forgotten how much I love this," Molly admitted, her eyes lighting up with passion. Paige grinned, encouraging Molly to embrace her rediscovered talents. "You have a unique gift, Molly. Don't let it go unnoticed." The journey of self-discovery extended to Molly's professional life as well. Emboldened by her growing confidence, she approached her manager with a proposal for a new project. The prospect of contributing in a meaningful way rejuvenated her spirit. In a conversation with Paige, Molly reflected on the evolution of her self-worth. "I spent so many years defining myself through the lens of others, first as a wife, then as a mother. Now I'm discovering my worth beyond those roles." Paige nodded in understanding. "You're defining your identity on your terms, Molly. That's a powerful journey." The defining moment came when Molly decided to attend a networking event, stepping out of her comfort zone to connect with professionals in her field. The air of the room buzzed with conversation and possibility, and Molly felt a renewed sense of purpose. As she mingled with others, Paige by her side, Molly overheard someone comment on her insightful contributions. It was a realization that echoed beyond the professional realm. Her opinions mattered, and her voice carried weight. Later, as they walked back from the event, Paige nudged Molly playfully. "Did you hear that? Your ideas were the talk of the room." Molly's eyes sparkled with a mixture of pride and disbelief. "I never thought I'd see the day when my voice mattered again." Paige smiled warmly. "You were always worthy of being heard, Molly. It just took a bit of rediscovery to recognize it." In the tapestry of rediscovering self-worth, Molly's journey unfolded with every brushstroke of newfound passions, every word spoken in professional settings, and every acknowledgement of her intrinsic value. The chapter became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of embracing one's true self. Life continued its rhythm for Molly, each day unfolding with a sense of purpose and newfound confidence. However, an unexpected twist awaited her, and it arrived in the form of a wedding invitation. One sunny afternoon, as Molly was sorting through a stack of mail, a familiar envelope caught her eye. The elegant script revealed her daughter's name, Piper Smith. Confused and intrigued, Molly opened the invitation to find that Piper was getting married. She sat on the couch, the invitation in her hands, a whirlwind of emotions coursing through her. The news brought a mix of surprise, joy, and a tinge of hesitation. Molly couldn't shake the feeling that this event might bridge the gap that had formed between her and her daughter. When she mentioned it to Paige during one of their late-night conversations, Paige offered a supportive perspective. "It's a significant moment, Molly. Maybe attending the wedding could be a step towards healing." Molly nodded thoughtfully, her mind juggling the complexities of the situation. "I want to be there for Piper, but I'm unsure how she'll react to my presence after all this time." Paige leaned in with a reassuring smile. "You won't know until you try, Molly. If anything, it might be a chance for a fresh start." With that encouragement lingering in her thoughts, Molly decided to attend the wedding. As she prepared for the event, thoughts of the past and the unspoken tensions tugged at her heart. The drive to the venue was a mix of anticipation and nerves. Upon arriving, Molly found herself amidst the bustle of wedding preparations. She hesitated at the entrance, scanning the room for familiar faces. It wasn't long before Joseph spotted her, a mixture of surprise and uncertainty etched on his face. "Molly, what are you doing here?" Joseph asked, his tone a blend of curiosity and guarded suspicion. Molly met his gaze, her voice steady. "I received an invitation. I'm here for Piper." Joseph's eyes softened, and for a moment, Molly glimpsed a hint of remorse. "Well, come in. Piper will be surprised to see you." Inside, the atmosphere was festive, the venue adorned with flowers and soft lighting. Molly navigated through the crowd, glancing around for Piper. Spotting her daughter across the room, Molly took a deep breath and approached. "Piper, Molly began tentatively. Congratulations on your wedding. You look beautiful. Piper's eyes widened with disbelief. Mom? What are you doing here? Molly, choosing her words carefully, replied, I received an invitation. I wanted to be here for you on this special day. Piper's expression shifted, a mixture of emotions playing on her face. You left. You abandoned us. Why would you even want to be here? Molly sighed, her voice gentle but firm. Piper, I never wanted to leave. I felt ignored and unappreciated, but my love for you has always been unwavering. I'm here to support you, whatever that may mean for us. The tension hung in the air as mother and daughter faced each other, emotions swirling beneath the surface. The wedding, initially a celebration, became a pivotal moment for Molly and Piper to confront the unresolved issues that had shaped their relationship. In the midst of the wedding festivities, Molly and Piper embarked on a conversation that would either deepen the wounds of the past or pave the way for a new understanding. As the chapter unfolded, the wedding invitation became a catalyst for the intricate dance between forgiveness, acceptance, and the possibility of healing a fractured bond. The wedding venue hummed with the joyous energy of celebration, but for Molly and Piper, the atmosphere was charged with the weight of unresolved emotions. As the ceremony unfolded, Molly found herself seated among guests, her gaze occasionally drifting toward her daughter, Piper, who stood at the altar. During a brief interlude between the ceremony and the reception, Molly caught sight of Paige, who offered a supportive smile. How are you holding up, Molly? Molly sighed, her eyes fixed on Piper. It's complicated, but I'm here for Piper, and that's what matters. Paige nodded understandingly. Remember, this is a journey, not a destination. Take it one step at a time. The reception hall buzzed with laughter and music as guests mingled. Molly hesitated near the refreshments, contemplating whether to approach Piper. Before she could decide, Piper approached her, a mix of curiosity and skepticism in her eyes. Molly, I never expected to see you here. What do you want? Piper's tone was guarded, the wounds of the past still lingering. Molly took a breath, choosing her words carefully. I want to be a part of your life, Piper. I want to understand and support you, even if it's from a distance. Piper crossed her arms, her expression hardened. Why did you leave then? If you wanted to be a part of our lives, why walk away? Molly met Piper's gaze, her voice tinged with sincerity. I left because I felt invisible, unappreciated. But leaving didn't mean I stopped loving you. I hoped, in time, we could rebuild what was broken. Piper's eyes softened, a flicker of vulnerability surfacing. It hurt, Mom. You left, and I felt abandoned. Molly reached out, gently placing a hand on Piper's shoulder. I'm sorry, Piper. I wish I had found a better way to communicate what I was going through. I didn't want you to feel abandoned. As the conversation unfolded, a quiet understanding began to emerge between mother and daughter. The layers of miscommunication and unspoken pain were slowly peeled away, revealing a shared desire for connection. Amidst the backdrop of the wedding festivities, Molly and Piper delved into the complexities of their relationship. The dance floor transformed into a space for emotional revelation as they navigated the tender terrain of forgiveness. Joseph, observing the scene from a distance, approached Molly with a hesitant expression. Molly, I never wanted things to end like this. I regret the role I played in pushing you away. Molly nodded, acknowledging the sincerity in Joseph's words. It's been a difficult journey for all of us, but maybe, in confronting our truths, we can find a way to move forward. The three of them, bound by history and family ties, stood in a delicate balance, a moment where the weight of the past could either shackle them or become the foundation for a renewed connection. In the unfolding chapter of truth and reconciliation, Molly, Piper, and Joseph faced the complexities of their shared history. The wedding, initially a celebration of union, became a poignant backdrop for the unveiling of long-buried truths and the potential for healing a fractured family. As the music played and the night unfolded, the dance of understanding and forgiveness began, a delicate step toward a future where wounds could transform into scars, marking the resilience of love and the possibility of a renewed bond.